It's hard to believe that it's been 3 decades since Forrest Gump first graced the silver screen, capturing the hearts of audiences around the world. The film, with its unforgettable lines, sweeping soundtrack, and Tom Hanks' iconic performance, became an instant classic. But behind the scenes, there was another star whose role was just as pivotal, Sally Field, who played Forrest's devoted mother, Mrs. Gump. For years, Field has been celebrated for her moving portrayal, but only now, after 30 years, is she opening up about the truth behind her experience on the set of Forrest Gump, and what she reveals is both surprising and deeply human. Sally Field was already a Hollywood legend when she took on the role of Mrs. Gump. With 2 Oscars to her name and a reputation for bringing depth and authenticity to every character, Field was the perfect choice to play the woman who shaped Forrest's life. But as she recently confessed in a candid interview, the process of making Forrest Gump was far more complicated than anyone realized. "When I first read the script, I was moved to tears," Field recalled. "Mrs. Gump was such a strong, loving presence, and I knew right away that I wanted to bring her to life. But I also felt a tremendous amount of pressure. This was a big film with a lot riding on it, and I didn't want to let anyone down, least of all myself." Field's concerns were not unfounded. The role of Mrs. Gump required her to age several decades on screen, to deliver some of the film's most memorable lines, and to create a believable, heartfelt bond with Tom Hanks, who was only 10 years her junior in real life. "It was a challenge," Field admitted. "Tom and I had to work hard to make our relationship feel authentic. We spent hours talking about our characters, about their history, about what made them tick. It was one of the most collaborative experiences I've ever had." But as Field now reveals, there were moments of doubt and insecurity that haunted her throughout the shoot. "There were days when I wondered if I was getting it right," she confessed. "I worried about the accent, about the makeup, about whether I was doing justice to the character. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and there were times when I felt overwhelmed. But one of the biggest challenges," Field says, "was the emotional weight of the role. Mrs. Gump is the heart of the film, the person who gives Forrest the strength to face the world with kindness and courage. Playing a mother who is so fiercely protective, so wise and loving, was both a joy and a burden," Field explained. "I drew on my own experiences as a mother, but I also had to dig deep to find the resilience and hope that Mrs. Gump embodied." Field's performance was universally praised, earning her critical acclaim and cementing her place in film history. But as she now admits, the experience left her changed in ways she didn't expect. "Forrest Gump was a turning point for me," she said. "It reminded me of the power of storytelling, of the impact that a single role can have on people's lives. I still get letters from fans who say that Mrs. Gump reminded them of their own mothers or who found comfort in her words. That means more to me than any award." In her confession, Field also addressed some of the rumors that have swirled around the film for years. She confirmed that the set was a place of intense creativity, but also of long hours and high expectations. "We all knew we were making something special, but that didn't make it easy," she said. "There were disagreements, there were tears, but there was also a sense of camaraderie that I'll never forget." Now, 30 years later, Sally Field looks back on Forrest Gump with a mixture of pride and humility. "It wasn't a perfect experience, but it was a meaningful one," she reflected. "I learned a lot about myself, about acting, and about the importance of telling stories that touch people's hearts." As fans celebrate the film's anniversary, Field's confession offers a new perspective on a beloved classic, and a reminder that even the most iconic roles come with their own set of challenges and truths. Sally Field's revelations about her time on Forrest Gump have sparked a wave of nostalgia and curiosity among fans and film lovers alike. For many, her portrayal of Mrs. Gump is inseparable from the film's emotional core, a performance that brought warmth, wisdom, and a quiet strength to every scene. But as Field continues to share her memories, it becomes clear that the journey was as complex and layered as the character she played. One of the most surprising truths Field confessed is just how uncertain she felt about her place in the film. "I was surrounded by so much talent. Tom Hanks, Robert Zemeckis, Gary Sinise, Robin Wright. It was intimidating," she admitted. "There were moments when I wondered if I belonged there, if I could live up to the expectations." Despite her impressive resume, Field says she struggled with imposter syndrome, a feeling that many actors, no matter how accomplished, know all too well. Field also opened up about the unique challenges of playing a mother to a character so close to her own age. Tom and I joked about it all the time, she laughed. He's only 10 years younger than me, so the makeup team had their work cut out for them. But we both agreed that the heart of the relationship was what mattered most. Mrs. Gump's love for her son was unconditional, and that's what we focused on. The bond between Field and Hanks extended beyond the script. Off camera, the two developed a genuine friendship, supporting each other through the long days and emotional scenes. Tom is one of the most generous actors I've ever worked with, Field said. He made it easy to be vulnerable, to take risks, to really go there emotionally. We trusted each other, and I think that shows on screen, but not every day on set was filled with camaraderie and laughter. Field recalled the pressure of filming some of the movie's most iconic scenes, especially those that required her to deliver lines that would become part of cinematic history. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Field smiled as she remembered the first time she read that line. I had no idea it would become so famous. At the time, I was just trying to make it feel real, to give it the weight it deserved. The emotional demands of the role took their toll. Field described the difficulty of filming Mrs. Gump's final scenes, knowing that her character's death would be a turning point for Forrest and for the audience. It was heartbreaking, she said. I wanted to honor the character, to make her passing meaningful. I remember crying after we wrapped those scenes, not just because of the story, but because I knew it was the end of something special. Field's confession also touched on the collaborative spirit that defined the Forrest Gump set. Director Robert Zemeckis encouraged input from his actors, often inviting them to shape their characters and contribute ideas. It was a creative environment, but it was also demanding, Field explained. We were all pushing ourselves to do our best work, and that meant long hours, lots of takes, and sometimes creative disagreements. But in the end, it made the film stronger. Looking back, Field is grateful for the experience even with all its challenges. Forrest Gump changed my life, she said. It reminded me why I love acting, because it allows you to connect with people, to tell stories that matter, to make a difference. She's proud of the legacy the film has left behind, and of the way Mrs. Gump continues to resonate with audiences around the world. Field's honesty about her doubts, her struggles, and her triumphs offers a new perspective on a film that has become a cultural touchstone. Her confession is a reminder that even the most celebrated performances are the result of hard work, vulnerability, and a willingness to face uncertainty head-on. As the 30th anniversary of Forrest Gump is celebrated, Sally Field's truth adds depth and humanity to the story behind the scenes, proving that sometimes the most powerful moments in film are born from the real emotions and experiences of the people who bring them to life. As Sally Field's reflections on Forrest Gump continue to circulate, fans are discovering even more about the scenes realities of making a film that would become a cultural phenomenon. Field's confessions have shed light not only on her own experience, but also on the unique atmosphere that defined the set. A place where creativity, pressure, and camaraderie collided in unforgettable ways. One of the most poignant truths Field shared was the emotional toll that filming took on her. There were days when the weight of Mrs. Gump's story felt almost too much to bear, she admitted. She was a woman who had endured so much: poverty, loss, the challenges of raising a child in a world that didn't always understand him. I felt a responsibility to honor her strength, but also her vulnerability. Field revealed that she often found herself carrying the character's emotions home with her, unable to fully shake off the sadness and hope that defined Mrs. Gump. The process of aging on screen was another challenge that Field faced head-on. The makeup and prosthetics required to transform her from a young mother to an elderly woman were extensive, sometimes taking hours to apply. It was physically uncomfortable at times, but it helped me get into character, Field explained. Looking in the mirror and seeing Mrs. Gump at different stages of her life made it easier to tap into her journey. She credits the film's talented makeup team for helping her bring authenticity to every phase of the character's life. Field also spoke about the collaborative nature of the production, highlighting the contributions of the entire cast and crew. It wasn't just about Tom and me, she said. Every person on that set brought something special to the table. The extras, the camera operators, the costume designers, everyone was invested in making this film the best it could be. Field recalled moments of laughter and levity between takes, as well as the shared sense of purpose that kept everyone motivated during the most grueling days. One of the most surprising aspects of Field's confession was her admission that she didn't fully grasp the film's impact until years after its release. At the time, we knew we were making something good, but we had no idea it would become what it did, she said. It wasn't until I started hearing from fans, people who said the film changed their lives, who saw themselves in Forrest or Mrs. Gump, that I realized how powerful it was. Field described receiving letters from viewers who found comfort in Mrs. Gump's wisdom or who were inspired by her resilience. That's the real reward, she said, knowing that the work you do can touch people in ways you never expected. Field's honesty about her insecurities and doubts has resonated with many who have faced similar feelings in their own lives. She spoke candidly about the pressure to live up to expectations. Her own, the director's, and the audience's. There's always that little voice in your head, wondering if you're enough, she admitted. But I've learned that the most important thing is to show up, to give your all, and to trust the process. As the anniversary of Forrest Gump is celebrated, Field's confessions have added a new layer of meaning to the film's legacy. Her willingness to share the truth about her experience, both the joys and the struggles, reminds us that even the most iconic movies are the result of real people working through real challenges to create something lasting. For Sally Field, the journey of Forrest Gump was transformative. It tested her limits, deepened her craft, and left her with memories that she will cherish forever. I'm grateful for every moment, she said. The hard days, the good days, the friendships, the lessons. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. As fans revisit the film and celebrate its enduring impact, Sally Field's confessions offer a heartfelt reminder behind every great story is a cast and crew who poured their hearts into bringing it to life. And sometimes, the greatest truths are the ones that take years to finally be told. As the 30th anniversary of Forrest Gump brings renewed attention to the film, Sally Field's confessions have prompted many to look back at the movie with fresh eyes. Her honesty about the challenges and triumphs of playing Mrs. Gump has given fans a deeper appreciation for the artistry and effort that went into every frame. But Field's revelations also highlight the personal sacrifices and emotional investment required to create a character that would resonate for generations. One of the most touching aspects of Field's story is her reflection on the mother-son dynamic that lies at the heart of Forrest Gump. She described how, from the very beginning, she felt a deep responsibility to portray Mrs. Gump as more than just a supporting character. She wasn't just Forrest's mother. She was his anchor, his guide, his source of unconditional love. Field explained, I wanted audiences to feel that, to understand that everything Forrest became was rooted in the lessons and love he received from her. The Field's commitment to authenticity meant that she often went above and beyond what was required. She worked closely with the film's dialect coach to perfect Mrs. Gump's Southern accent, spending hours listening to recordings and practicing lines until they felt natural. She also researched the era in which Mrs. Gump would have grown up, immersing herself in the history and culture of the American South. I wanted to honor the women of that generation, their strength, their resilience, their ability to endure hardship with grace, Field said. The emotional intensity of the role sometimes left Field feeling drained, both physically and mentally. She recalled days when she would return to her hotel room after filming, exhausted from the effort of holding back tears during particularly poignant scenes. There's a scene where Mrs. Gump tells Forrest, "You have to do the best with what God gave you." That line stayed with me long after we finished shooting, Field shared. It's a message of hope, but also of acceptance, a reminder that we all have our own challenges, and that it's okay to be different. Field's portrayal of Mrs. Gump was shaped not only by her own experiences as a mother, but also by her relationship with her own mother. She spoke candidly about the ways in which her upbringing influenced her approach to the character. My mother was a strong woman, but she also had her vulnerabilities. I tried to bring that same complexity to Mrs. Gump, to show that strength and tenderness can coexist. The impact of Field's performance was felt not just by audiences, but by her fellow cast members as well. Tom Hanks has often credited Field with helping him find the emotional core of Forrest's character. Sally brought so much heart to the role, Hanks said in a recent interview. She made it easy for me to believe in the bond between Forrest and his mother. Her presence on set was a gift to all of us. Field's confessions have also sparked conversations about the importance of supporting actors and the often overlooked contributions they make to a film's success. While Tom Hanks' portrayal of Forrest Gump rightfully earned him an Oscar, many fans and critics now recognize that the film's emotional resonance owes much to Field's nuanced, heartfelt performance. As she looks back on her time with Forrest Gump, Field is grateful for the opportunity to have been part of something so meaningful. "It's rare to be involved in a project that touches so many lives," she said. "I'm proud of the work we did, and I'm proud of the way Mrs. Gump continues to inspire people." For fans, Field's confessions are a reminder that the magic of movies is often the result of hard work, vulnerability, and a willingness to pour one's soul into a role. As the world celebrates 30 years of Forrest Gump, Sally Field's truth adds a new layer of depth to a film that has already meant so much to so many. Sally Field's confessions about her experience on Forrest Gump have also illuminated the unique pressures that come with being part of a film destined for greatness. As the production moved forward, the cast and crew began to sense that they were creating something special, but that realization brought its own set of anxieties. "There was this feeling on set that we were part of a story that would last," Field recalled. "That's a wonderful thing, but it's also a lot to carry. You want to get it right, not just for yourself, but for everyone who will watch it for years to come." Field described how the weight of expectation sometimes made her second guess her choices. "I'd lie awake at night thinking about a scene, wondering if I'd found the right emotion, the right delivery," she said. "It's easy to forget that even seasoned actors have those moments of doubt." She credits director Robert Zemeckis for creating an environment where actors felt safe to take risks and explore their characters. "Bob was always encouraging us to dig deeper, to find the truth in every moment. He never settled for good enough." The collaborative spirit on set extended to every department. Field spoke with admiration about the makeup artists, costume designers, and set decorators who worked tirelessly to bring the world of Forrest Gump to life. "It was a team effort in every sense," she said. "Everyone was invested in telling this story as honestly and beautifully as possible." She recalled moments of camaraderie between takes, shared jokes, quiet conversations, and the sense of being part of a family. Despite the challenges, Field found joy in the process. She described the thrill of watching scenes come together, of seeing the story unfold through the eyes of her fellow actors. "There's a kind of magic that happens when everything clicks. The writing, the performances, the direction. You can feel it in the air." Field said that some of her favorite memories from the set were the quiet, unplanned moments. Tom Hanks improvising a line, a spontaneous laugh, or a shared look that said more than words ever could. As the film neared completion, Field began to realize just how much the experience had changed her. "I walked away from Forrest Gump with a deeper understanding of myself, both as an actor and as a person," she reflected. "It taught me about resilience, about the importance of kindness, and about the power of storytelling to bring people together." She also spoke about the friendships she formed during the shoot, bonds that have lasted long after the cameras stopped rolling. The release of Forrest Gump was a whirlwind. The film was an instant hit, earning critical acclaim and sweeping the Oscars. Field remembered attending the premiere and feeling a mix of pride and disbelief. It was surreal to see the audience react, to hear people laugh and cry and cheer. "I knew then that we had created something that would stand the test of time." In the years since, Field has continued to receive letters from fans who were touched by her performance. Many share stories of their own mothers, of the lessons they learned, and of the comfort they found in Mrs. Gump's words. "It's incredibly moving to know that the character meant so much to so many people," Field said. "That's the greatest reward any actor can hope for." Field's confessions have also inspired a new generation of actors to embrace vulnerability and authenticity in their work. She encourages young performers to trust their instincts, to be brave in their choices, and to remember that the most powerful stories are often the most personal. "Don't be afraid to bring your whole self to a role," she advised. "That's where the magic happens." As the world celebrates 30 years of Forrest Gump, Sally Field's truth stands as a testament to the dedication, heart, and humanity that go into making a classic. Her journey reminds us that behind every unforgettable film are artists who pour their souls into their craft, facing doubts, embracing challenges, and ultimately creating something that touches lives for generations. As the 30th anniversary of Forrest Gump is celebrated around the world, Sally Field's heartfelt confessions have given fans a new lens through which to view the beloved film. Her honesty about the challenges, doubts, and triumphs she experienced on set has deepened the appreciation for her performance and the film as a whole. For Field, the journey of Forrest Gump is not just a chapter in her career. It's a defining moment that continues to shape her life and legacy. Field's reflections have also sparked conversations about the enduring power of storytelling. She believes that the reason Forrest Gump has stood the test of time is because it speaks to universal themes: love, loss, resilience, and the search for meaning. People see themselves in Forrest, in Mrs. Gump, in all the characters, she said. It's a story about ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances and finding the courage to keep going. Field is proud to have been part of a film that has brought comfort and inspiration to so many. Looking back, Field is grateful for the lessons she learned during the making of Forrest Gump. She credits the experience with teaching her the value of vulnerability, the importance of collaboration, and the necessity of trusting oneself even in the face of uncertainty. There were days when I doubted myself, when I wondered if I was enough, she admitted. But I learned that it's okay to be scared, to make mistakes, to ask for help. That's how you grow, not just as an actor, but as a person. Field's confessions have also highlighted the impact that a single role can have on an actor's life. For her, Mrs. Gump is more than just a character. She's a symbol of unconditional love, quiet strength, and unwavering hope. Field often hears from fans who say that Mrs. Gump reminded them of their own mothers, or who found solace in her words during difficult times. That's the magic of movies, Field said. They connect us, they heal us, they remind us that we're not alone. As she moves forward in her career, Field carries the lessons of Forrest Gump with her. She continues to seek out roles that challenge and inspire her, and she remains committed to using her platform to advocate for causes she believes in. Field is passionate about supporting young actors, encouraging them to embrace their uniqueness and to approach their craft with honesty and heart. The best performances come from a place of truth, she said. Don't be afraid to be yourself, to bring your whole self to the work. For fans, Field's confessions are a gift, a rare glimpse into the real-life emotions and experiences that shaped one of cinema's most iconic films. Her willingness to share her story, warts and all, is a reminder that even the brightest stars face doubts and challenges. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and to the power of art to transform both the creator and the audience. As the world continues to celebrate Forrest Gump, Sally Field's truth adds a new layer of meaning to the film's legacy. Her journey is a reminder that greatness is not achieved without struggle, and that the most memorable stories are often born from moments of vulnerability and courage. Field's performance as Mrs. Gump will forever be remembered as a masterclass in empathy, strength, and love. In the end, what Sally Field has confessed after 30 years is not just the truth about a film, but the truth about what it means to be an artist, a mother, and a human being. Her story is a beacon for anyone who has ever doubted themselves, who has ever faced a challenge and wondered if they were enough. Through her honesty, Field has shown that the real magic of Forrest Gump lies not just in the story on screen, but in the hearts of those who brought it to life, and in the millions who continue to be moved by its message.